Hey, are you someone frustrated and absolutely fed up with home prices? You could be priced out of your local market and you're wondering, when will home prices actually come down, if ever? Well, today we're going to look at a map of the United States and several data sets that show us where active inventory of homes for sale is exploding and where it's actually dropping. And this can give you a gauge as to where prices may go in the near future. And stay tuned to the end because I'm going to show you the tools I use as a real estate professional to actually analyze opportunities. But before we get started, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you get any value out of the material. Also, comment. Please comment. I want to know what's going on in your market. Are you a home buyer, seller, investor? Are you frustrated? What's your battle been like? Let's hear your war stories. All right, on to the info. So first, we're going to review an article from Resi Club that gives us an overview of inventory trends. Then we're going to look at some state level data with inventory. And then we're going to go down to an actual metro level with inventory, new listings, and days on market. At the very end, we're going to review some tools I use to help me analyze deals. This article is called Housing Market Sees 30% Increase in Active Inventory, Yet Still 35% below pre-pandemic. And so Resi Club, if you don't know, awesome data provider. The link's in my description below. They have free info. They also have a paid service. This is from their paid service. When assessing home price momentum, Resi Club believes it's important to monitor active listings and months of supply. If active listings start to rapidly increase as home prices remain on the market for longer periods, it may indicate potential future pricing weakness. Conversely, a rapid decline in active listings could suggest a market that is heating up. Given the absence of excessive amount of existing inventory in the market, it makes sense that spiked mortgage rates and strained affordability haven't resulted in more regional home price corrections. We are starting to see national active listings rise 30% between April 2023 and April 2024. However, we're still well below pre-pandemic levels, down 35% since April of 2019. So what Lance is pointing to in the article they wrote is that while we have seen a rapid increase in active listings, you're going to see that data here in a minute, overall, we're still way below where we were before the pandemic. So ask yourself this: in your market, in your local market, before the pandemic, were there tons of homes to buy? Were homes on fire sale? Or were they still unaffordable? If they were unaffordable, or if active inventory was bad before the pandemic, it's way worse now, despite some year over year improvements, probably. The point is, we're still in a bad situation with inventory compared to where we were before the pandemic. So year by year, he actually outlines it. April 2017, we had 1,198,000 active listings. 2018 in April, 1,102,000 active listings. April 2019, 1,137,000 active listings. 2020, 941,000. That's when it dropped a little bit. Then 2021, it dropped a ton, 435,000 active listings. I mean, that drop is insane, right? 22, drop again to 379. Then in April of 2023, last year, we actually had a decent rise to 562,000 listings, still way below pre-pandemic. And now 734,000 active listings, again, way below pandemic. So the first map we're going to look at is the year-over-year shift in active listings by state. And obviously, the percentages, the darker the color in green, more inventory growth they've had since last year. So from April 2023 to April 2024, this is what we're looking at. So for instance, Florida up 64% in active inventory. Unreal, right? Arizona up 44% in active inventory. Texas up 38% in active inventory. California up 28% in active inventory year over year. Remember, this is just year over year. Let's look at, there's two states that are actually down year over year. One is Nevada, down 12% year over year in active inventory. New York, down 1.1% in active inventory. I'm in Ohio, so I talk about Ohio on most of my videos. Up 10% in active inventory year over year. Look at the Carolinas, up 37% in active inventory. For North Carolina, South Carolina, up 40% in active inventory. Georgia, up 41%. Alabama up 37%. I mean, the Sun Belt states are just getting hammered. So the South is definitely getting hammered. So that's month over month from a visual standpoint by state. Now let's look at the shift from 2019 to 2024, because this is startling. So in Florida, we're up 64%. Remember, up 64% in Florida year over year with active listings. But since 2019, you're still down 9%. Despite all that inventory growth you've had over the last year, you're still down 9%. Texas is still down 1%. Look at California, down 42% still. Washington State down 18%. Look at Ohio, where I am, down 55% in active inventory. Just unreal, right? Wow. New Jersey down 70%. So it's clear, despite the fact that we have gained inventory over the last year and the last actual couple years, we're still nowhere near where we were before the pandemic started. I mean, the Northeast is awful. There's just no inventory, I bet, in a lot of these metros. Unreal. So now we've looked at the state level data. Let's dive into the metro level data, because this really gets exciting. All right, so this data is from Resi Club Analytics as well, but this is the raw data, and Lance from Resi Club puts it into a nice spreadsheet that, as a pro member, you can download and analyze. I downloaded it, I put it into Excel, and then I created a table so that we could sort it by different metrics. I only use the top 100 metros. I didn't use all the metros they have listed. There's like 800 or something. So I just did the top 100 to make things simple. But here again, this is the 5-year change from April 2019 through April 2024. The next column is the 1-year change. So just year over year. And we also have a month over month change. Now this is active listings. So these are the active homes for sale. We just looked at a state level, now metro level. And for a data geek like me, this is awesome to look at. So again, if you are, I can't stress this enough, if you're looking for an opportunity out there, pay attention to this section. Consider going to Lance's site to get, more data on your local metro. But this can give you kind of a glimpse as to where inventory is headed. Not only that, where prices may be headed in your local market. So let's sort by who had the biggest year over year change, 1-year change in active listings. Cape Coral, Florida, Fort Myers, up 87%. 87% year over year. North Point, Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida, up 81%. And they're all Floridas in the top list. Look at this. Palm Bay, Tampa. Now here's Myrtle Beach in the 5th spot, up 64%. But above that, it's Florida. Huge explosion of inventory in Florida. I'd love to know if you're in Florida, you know someone in Florida, comment below. I'd love to know what's happening. Orlando, here's another Florida, Daytona Beach, Knoxville, Tennessee, up 60% year over year in active listings. Jacksonville, Florida, up 59% in active listings. Miami, up 58%. Denver, San Diego, Dallas. Look at this. Dallas up 47%. A lot of Texas areas too. El Paso. Man, is there any, or are there any Northeast or Midwestern cities? I'm in Ohio, so that's why I'm concerned about that. I mean, there's Memphis, there's North Carolina, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, I guess Council Bluff, Iowa, up 37% in active inventory. Let's scroll down here to find anybody. Here's Indianapolis, up 33% in active inventory. Okay, here's some Ohio cities. Cincinnati, Ohio, up 23% in active inventory. Columbus, Ohio, up 23% in active inventory. Long Beach, up 19% in active inventory. Wow. Again, top 100 metros. Toledo, Ohio, I can't believe they're a top metro, but they are in the top 100. 6% in active inventory. Wow. So obviously, there are areas that have exploded in active inventory. And if you live in one of those areas, could be some deals headed your way. All right, let's look at where inventory actually dropped year over year. Not many, only, what's that? 8 areas, 8 metros. Las Vegas, down 18% in active inventory. Bridgeport, Connecticut, down 10%. Syracuse, New York, look at this one, down 3%. Cleveland, Believeland, down 2%. New York City, down 1%. Rochester, New York, down 1%. Remember, New York was down 1% year over year as a state. So it's no surprise they're on that list. And Nevada was down. How much was Nevada down? Nevada was down 12% in active listings. So no shock that Las Vegas is on the list there at 18%. Unbelievable. Let's look at month over month and find out what we see there. Largest to smallest. So who had the biggest growth month over month for active listings? San Jose, California, up 24%. Denver, up 23%. San Francisco, up 21%. Colorado Springs, up 19%. Yeah, a lot of them. Did anybody drop, or month over month, did anybody drop? We've got 5 metros out of the top 100. Akron, Ohio, lost 8%, is down 8% in active inventory month over month. Scranton, down 3%. Augusta, Georgia, down 2%. Cleveland, believe land on here again, down 1.56%. But only 5 out of the top 100 metros are down month over month with inventory, active listings. All right, now we have that. So now let's look at new listings, because more new listings you add, if demand doesn't increase, you're going to add active inventory over time. So I'd watch new listings in your market too. Let's do the same exercise. Largest to smallest, 1 year change, year over year in new listings. Seattle, Tacoma, up 46% in new listings year over year. 46%. San Jose, up 40%. Austin, up 36% in new listings. Greenville, South Carolina. San Diego, California, up 29% in new listings. Atlanta, up 27% in new listings. Knoxville, up 25% in new listings. Did anybody drop in new listings year over year? Let's find out. We've got a few metros. We've got 5 metros that dropped year over year in new listings. Syracuse, Detroit, Springfield, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, and Akron, Ohio. What's going on in Akron? So there's definitely a lot more metros in the top 100 that are growing year over year with new listings. And there's not many that are shrinking when it comes to active listings. So no surprise there. Now let's look at month over month with new listings. Spokane, Washington, month over month went up 47% in new listings, 37% for Richmond, Virginia in new listings. Colorado Springs up 36% month over month in new listings. Here's an Ohio City, Toledo up 24% in new listings month over month. Here's Columbus, Ohio, up 16% in new listings month over month, and 5.14% for Columbus for year over year change in new listings. I find it interesting though that the top areas of month over month gains in new listings are not in Florida. Most of them are actually in the Northeast. Well, I guess there's Washington there, but you've got Massachusetts, Connecticut, Michigan's the Midwest, Virginia, I guess East Coast. But I just saw Massachusetts on there and Connecticut, and then another Massachusetts, and thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. Not a lot of Floridas. So if you're in one of these Northeastern markets like Massachusetts or Connecticut, I'd love to know what's happening in those areas. All right. Now I've got more info for you guys, because this is days on market. This can give us more indication as to where prices could come down or continue to go up. Again, days on market is how long a property sits on the market. So the longer, the average property sits on the market in a metro, you figure prices will come down. So let's look at that 1 year change again, largest to smallest. So who had the largest growth of days on market, meaning houses are taking a lot longer to sell? Portland, Maine, days on market up 55%. Cape Coral, Florida, up 53% in days on market. Hartford, Connecticut, up 42%. Sarasota, Florida, up 34%. Denver, up 33% in days on market. Worcester, Massachusetts, Connecticut, up 15%. Myrtle Beach, up 11%. Madison, Wisconsin, up 11%. So surprising that Florida didn't make the list of the top areas with days on market growth. So if you go back, let's just go back for a second and look at active listings and look at who has the most here. As a data geek, you do this. You go back and forth with data to find the trends. So look at this: Cape Coral, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton, Palm Bay, Tampa. Those are the top areas with the most year over year change in active listings. But then if we go to the biggest changes in days on market, we've got Cape Coral, we've got Bradenton. Okay, that's on here. We saw that. Daytona Beach. But there's definitely not as many Florida markets on that top list of days on market. So that would tell me that homes aren't sitting longer in Florida necessarily. So maybe they're being purchased. I wonder if sales are up there. That'd be interesting to find out. Is the sales volume up there? Are houses coming off the market as fast as they're coming on? Could be. Let's look at where days on market dropped. This is where, if you look year over year, where it's actually homes are selling faster than they were last year. Des Moines, Iowa, down 29% days on market. Homes are selling 29% faster. Kansas City down 24%. San Jose down 22%. Any Florida markets on here? Not many at the top. Not many at the top at all. So overall, yeah, there are areas. In fact, there are 43 of the top 100 metros where homes are selling faster than they did last year. Maybe because of more inventory. Could be. Anyway, I hope that gave you some information as to what's happening maybe in one of these metros that you live near. Again, you come into, and if you have a question, you want to comment below, you want me to look at a particular market on the next video, I'm happy to do that. Just put it in the comments. So again, great data from Lance. Okay, now I promised you that I would show you some tools I use when I'm finding deals and analyzing opportunities to see where I can get the best price. And so this sheet you're seeing is free. There's a link in my description below. You can go to the link, download it, and it's a Google document. It's a Google sheet. So when you download it, then create a copy for yourself, and you can customize this any way you want. It's not protected at all. And I didn't invent this spreadsheet necessarily. I just tweaked it for my own use. But this is a tool that most real estate professionals use, real estate investors, even some real estate agents or realtors, to actually analyze opportunities. At the bottom, you'll see 3 tabs on this file. There's rental, flip, and deal funnel. For the purpose of today, we're just going to look at rental. Now, I have made some videos that you can check out on my YouTube channel on how to use the other tabs and a deep dive into each tab and how I use it. So overall, in the green boxes, these are the areas that you can input that, and you can actually change any cell in here. But for the purpose of today, the green areas are the ones to pay attention to regarding input and information on the property. So I use this to find out if I'm getting a good deal compared to what I've already looked at in the marketplace. And so this first tab on the rental will show me the cash flow potential given different variables for a property. It could be an investment property, but it could be a house that you may want to buy and live in. And you want to find out, hey, if I happen to rent out my property in the future, if I buy a property on the market to live in, but then down the road, I want to rent that out, will it actually cash flow and rent out? And again, I'm going to run through this quickly, but there's deep dives on my YouTube channel. So at the top is the address, right? That's simple. You just put in the address, no mystery there. So then here you have the bedrooms, the number of units per bedroom, and the rental amount per bedroom. So if you have, for instance, a duplex and you have a 1-bedroom and then a 2-bedroom unit at the duplex, one's rented for $2,800 and the 2-bedroom unit is rented for $1,000, probably be reversed, right? You probably rent the 2-bedroom for more. But in any case, in that situation, that's how you enter that. It's one. I have 1 unit that's a 2-bedroom, 1 unit that's a 1-bedroom. But let's look at it from a single family house perspective. So as a single family house, what I'm going to do is just put in 1 here for the number of units, and then I'm going to put in my rent, my projected rent. So you should do some research online, either using Zillow or honestly just Googling the street and the number of the property you're looking to buy, and look around at nearby available rentals to get a sense of what the rental rates are. You can also contact local property managers, even local real estate agents or brokers, and oftentimes they will tell you how much properties are renting for in different neighborhoods. So let's pretend I have a 3-bedroom house at 123 Main Street. I'm going to rent it. I think I can rent it for $2,800 once I move out in the future. Or if it's an investment property, I can rent it for $2,800. So here in this green box is the purchase price. This is where I put how much I'm actually going to buy the property for. The improvements is how much I'm going to put in the property after I purchase it. Maybe it needs, windows, or maybe it needs some flooring or a new bathroom, whatever. In this example, I put down $5,000. So the total cost is $260,000. That's $250,000 for the purchase, $5,000 for the repairs, and then this box is $5,000 for the closing cost. That's estimated at 2% of the purchase price, which is typical. All right. Here's my down payment percentage, and you can change this. So in this situation, I'm putting 20% down. The interest rate I'm paying will be 6.9%. And this is the interest rate that you can get from the lender you're using. This is how long I'm going to have the loan for. Most residential loans are 30 years. So that's why I put 30. So here's my mortgage payment, and the spreadsheet will calculate your mortgage payment for you. Now, important to know, this payment does not include insurance and taxes. That's over here on the right-hand side. But the mortgage payment alone is $1,344 a month. The cash outlay is how much I need to outlay in cash in order to get the deal done. That includes the down payment, the closing costs, and the repairs. And that's if I'm paying that out of pocket. Sometimes you may finance that amount, but for this case, we're going to pretend that we're outlaying that out of our pocket. So at the top, this tells you where your profit is, your annual cash flow, your cash ROI, return on investment, your total ROI, which includes equity gain, very important, your gross rent margin. I'm not going to get into that in this video. I do in my longer video, but not now. Net operating income and cap rate. We're going to skip those for right now. But as you scroll down here, the other areas you need to input are property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, property manager, trash removal, and landscaping. Those are the fields I typically fill out in here. And so property taxes, you just go to the local auditor's website, or if you're looking at a property on the market, it should tell you in the listing what the property taxes are. This is the monthly tax. So in this particular house, the monthly taxes are $225 a month, $2,700 a year. Insurance, I got my insurance quote, $100 a month. Maintenance, $420 a month. Now that's a factor based on a percentage. So right now it's 15%. So in the calculation here, you can see 15% of the rent I'm projecting to be maintenance and repairs. Now, some houses, if you're buying a new house, something built in like 2010, your maintenance and repairs will probably be far less than 15%. But if you're buying an older house, it could be 15% a month. You could be paying that with everything, with things that break. I like to have a safety net in there. That's why I use 15%. Now, if you pay any utilities on the property, it's a single family house. Generally, the tenant pays that. But if you pay any utilities, you'd put that in there too. General admin, you can skip that for a single family house. Property manager, $280 a month. That's a factor of 10% of the rental rate. A lot of property managers charge 10%. That's why I have 10% in there. So that's $280 a month. I don't have any trash removal because the tenant pays that. I'm not calculating money for their unit turn because that's why I have the maintenance and repairs at $420. And then the landscaping at $50 a month, which is $600 a year. So that is, general maintenance I have to do on the outside of the building, like, grass cutting or, trimming trees and stuff like that. So total expenses per month is $1,075 per month. That's all my expenses. And then you look at the mortgage, $1,344 a month. So that's the total outlay. So then down at the bottom here, you can see that my net operating income, which is my total revenue minus my expenses, not the mortgage, just the expenses, is $1,492. So I take my $2,800, subtract my mortgage, I get $1,492. Now, my mortgage is $1,344. That leaves me with a cash flow of $148. That's an ROI of 3%. It's a total ROI of 7% because of the equity I accrued. Because as I pay the mortgage off, I'm going to accrue equity. So is this a good investment? Well, I don't know. In some markets, it may be. For me, this would not fly at all. I generally speaking will only go after deals where my cash flow, if it's a single family house, is at least $300 a month after all these expenses, minimum of $300 a month. And this one doesn't cut the mustard. So now you've analyzed a single family house. And when you do this enough, you can get really good at it and do it in a matter of seconds. And this will work on your phone too. You can have access to this on your phone. I do a lot when I'm on the road, and you can just pull over, look at your phone, put in the calculations, and know if the deal you were just looking at makes any sense. All right. So then I take that information that was on the rental calculator and I put it into my deal funnel. Your deal funnel is where you can keep track of all the opportunities you're going after. So as you go tour houses, even with an agent, you can put them here in your deal funnel and then analyze them and figure out, all right, what type of deal am I getting? How does it compare to the last property I saw? Now you can add any element you want to this file once you download it. So right now I have areas where I keep track of my comments, the next step, the deal type, if it's a rental or a flip, who the agent is, the market status, if it's active or closed or whatever, the type of building, multifamily or single family house, the address, the city, yada, 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 the list price, the original list price, how much it's off of list now, what it's sold for. So I track, if I didn't win an opportunity, I track how much I actually sold for. So I know in the future, as I'm looking at that street, what things sold for, how long it sat on the market or how long it is on the market. Because as this increases, days on market may be an opportunity to revisit the property and the listing to actually get a better deal. Rent, how much you can rent it for, right? Just off that rental sheet. Then my monthly payment, the repairs on my property, cash needed to close, and the cash flow. Again, this is a little different than that sheet because this was a previous property, but this shows $364 in cash flow, which again, I only take things with $300 or more in cash flow. So you can see in my deal funnel, I have 2 opportunities listed. I've got one that's a rental, one that's a flip, and then I've got the profit at the end, cash flow, $364 on the rental. On the flip, I've got $42,000 on my flip. So part of what I do is I look at those opportunities and as I put more and more in there and say, all right, what is the average cash flow I'm getting out of these deals? What's the average flip profit I could get out of these? And then you have to weigh those with your own financial situation and goals and determine which ones do you really want to go after. And again, this can be really useful if you're even looking for a house to live in. You have to think like an investor if you want cash flow and you want to really find a deal that makes sense for the long term. So again, this is free. You can download this calculator and this file. You can download it from my website, but you can also download it from the description below. There's a link. And over time, I'll evolve this and tweak it. But I did want to show you guys that tool today. Hey, I hope that made sense and helped you if you're out there looking for a deal in real estate. And I'll add more tools to this calculator and file as time goes on. Again, it's free and you can download it anytime you want. I'm also producing more videos about how to deep dive into the rental calculator, the flip calculator, and the deal funnel. So look for those as they come out. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you got some insight, some value, maybe some more knowledge and tools to make you a better buyer, seller, or real estate investor. If you did, comment below, hit the like button. Please consider subscribing. All right, see you on the next video.